911, what's your emergency?
Must be hard being a first responder.
The only way to survive the job is to find a way to cope with the ones who lose. But in those moments, when you actually save someone, there is no better feeling in the world.
I can help you, please.
I wondered, did you guys meet with any real first responders? Did that help you? I mean, I imagine their stories are, you know, anything that we see in this show probably doesn't even cover a minute of it.
I actually was fortunate to meet with one of LA's finest, Lieutenant. Our consultant on the set introduced me. Met her at lunch one day. We sat down for a couple of hours, and she was just really lovely, very fascinating. She's been on the force for about 24 years. Came through the academy, you know, here in LA when there were very few women coming through about 23, 24 years ago, and of course very few black women. I think she was one of two in her class. So just her, you know, maturation through her career is really interesting. She was lovely. I mean, you would never know, you know, sitting there at dinner that there was like a gun on her hip. You know, of course I had to ask the question, have you ever, you know, had need to use it? And no, she hadn't in 23 years. And it just, for me, spoke to, you know, when you see others as human beings, that you have another perspective and a way of dealing with situations. So it was, you know, it was really fascinating.
It's been fun to be able to depict this character because we haven't seen 911 operators and a lot of the more traditional cop shows or fireman shows, and to really get to see what they do and what their lives are like. And I actually spent a lot of time at the LA call center and was just so fascinated with, first of all, the training that they undergo. And I was really interested, you know, because they do have to go through a lot of training, but then the skills that they have, they have these 6 computer screens in front of them, each computer screen doing something completely different. They're controlling all of them. They have to do it in a matter of seconds. And they have to be at this clip all the time, but a completely level voice. And I was curious about what it is that drives people to do the job. And everyone had a different answer for me, but the one thing that they all agreed on is that when you do that job, you have to have something to go home to. You have to have something to take you away from the stress of it, because it is so immediate, and they have to hear really difficult things on the phone, and they don't have a lot of control over what's going on the other line. They pass that off to, you know, to the firefighters and to the police officers. And so it's a very unique place to be. And then, of course, on our show, too, my character's mother is suffering from Alzheimer's. And so we get to see what she's dealing with at home and talk about what our own crises are in our lives.
Do you guys have favorite moments from this season that you might be willing to share? And just in terms of the calls that they get?
I particularly enjoyed episode 4, which we had to film over the course of 4 months. We started in October and we finished in January. It's a plane crash episode. We filmed out at Dockweiler Beach. And we spent some really cold, wet nights, but Oliver Stark, who plays Buck, and Aisha, who plays Hen, the bonding out there also at Disney Ranch, you know, we were in basically a man-made lake with wave machines. And I think the coldest it was one night was about 27 degrees. And we were just huddled together just for warmth, just the 3 of us. And we'd sort of like get up next to the fuselage to get out of the wind, because they had this floating dock. Like they'd ferry it away from us, so then you knew you were stuck out inside this plane in the middle of this man-made lake. And just making that was incredibly difficult, but the cast bonding was particularly great.